169 USD. Fully built, aluminum case, wireless, loop switches, the works. I kept waiting to find out where they cut the corner, and let me show you what I actually found. Hey everyone, welcome back to Scoop Bar. Two boards on the desk again, the QwertyKeys Neo98 and the Neo75. And if those names sound familiar, yeah, we actually reviewed these before, but not these exact ones. Last time we built the barebones kit, it comes unassembled and you pick out your own switches and keycaps. What we have today are the pre-built versions, fully assembled, switches in, keycaps on, ready to type the second you open the box. And the change is more than what meets the eye, it's what's inside, who's it for, and who's it really up against. Let's get into it. This video is sponsored by QwertyKeys. The take is mine, the good and the bad, and you're going to hear both. QwertyKeys did not get to see this video before it went up. Standard Scoop Bar practice. If you're new here, hello, my name is Jeff, and I'm glad you found us. Scoop Bar is a passion project that me and my friend V running it around our full-time jobs. And the one thing I want to say out loud, everything you're watching is real. The actual keyboards on our actual desk, shot on our own rig. No renders, no AI, no stock footage, just us and a camera or two. If you appreciate content like ours and find it useful, a like and a sub genuinely moves the needle for us. Field links for both boards are down below if you want to support the channel. Okay, let's talk keyboards. So here's what you're getting. The Neo75 is 169 USD, the Neo98 is 179, both fully built, aluminum case, tri-mode wireless, Bluetooth, a 2.4 GHz dongle, and a wired over USB-C. London Fog V2 switches inside, factory lube, double shot PBD keycaps. In the box, you also get a dust cover and puller tools, a dongle plus extension adapter, a few Mac keycaps, and 3 spare switches. Pretty decent amount of accessories and parts for the price. One tip before you do anything else, takes you only 30 seconds. Check the board for scuffs or any QC issue while the shrink wrap and the protective film is still on. Something's wrong, document it right then. Once the film's off, warranty claims get a lot harder. Bonus points if you film yourself peeling it. A couple small misses up front. There's no dongle storage on the board, so that little 2.4 GHz receiver is a thing that you're probably just going to misplace and lose. There's also no carrying case, just a dust cover, and I get why. The smaller packaging is cheaper to ship and the retail box is sturdy enough for storage. But if you're commuting to an office with this, a carrying case would have been nice. Before we get further, let me set a baseline on how this thing sounds. Here's the Neo65 CU, a board we used before, so you got a reference you recognize, then the two pre-builds. Okay, the important part. If you saw our barebones kit review, you need to hear this. The pre-builts changed real things on the inside. They're a different board from the barebones kit, not the same kit with the building done for you. Now, some changes are smart and make sense on who this board is for. Some are trade-offs. Start with the daughter board connector. The barebones kit used pogo pins, drop the top half down, it connects, and it's done. The pre-built kit uses a ribbon cable instead, and I asked QwertyKeys why. The answer made sense. Most people buy buying a Prebuilt are never going to open it up, so a ribbon cable is more secure, more reliable for long-term connection. Also read cheaper to make here, which is fair because if you're a builder who likes going inside, you're going to miss the pogo pins. If you're not, you're never going to notice and you end up with a sturdier setup. Honestly, I think it's the right call for the people that are looking at this board. Mounting next. The barebones kit give you 3 options: Poron gasket, silicone, and top mount. The Prebuilt is Poron-only. And heads up, Prebuilt and barebones kit parts are not interchangeable, so you can't swap a mount in later. Honestly though, most people land it on the Poron gasket mount anyways. It's the crowd favorite for a reason: soft enough to type on all day, firm enough to feel responsive, and sounds the best in my opinion. And the people looking to buy a Prebuilt probably won't open up a case to change mounting style. Not to mention, CNCing the case to work with only one mount is cheaper. The plate is polypropylene only, no aluminum option. Polypropylene is softer and more muted, and we'll get to how it sounds in a little bit. The internal acoustic chamber is also a flatter design than the barebones kit. So again, different board, not a clone. And again, flat design is easier to machine than one with ridges. Read cheaper. The good news, you get physical toggles now. One for connection mode, one to flip between Windows and Mac. I love this. No hunting for a hidden key combo or a switch under a keycap. You see it, you flip it. For someone new to this, it's a nice quality of life thing. One thing here though, ANSI only, no ISO on the pre-build. So if you type on ISO, sorry friend, you're SOL. Looks wise, still pretty clean. Same minimalist Neo design, aluminum case, mirror polished badge, sitting nice and flush. A subtle LED accent, nothing gamery, nothing loud, easy to drop on any desk. You get 4 colorways: slate blue, black, taupe gray, and spray coated white. That's fewer than the barebones kit offerings, so if you want one of those wilder barebones colors, these 4 might feel a little safe. Trade off for a streamlined product line. Read, you guessed it, cheaper. Keycaps are a double shot PPT in chair profile, the low sculpted profile most people already type on. And I'll explain why when we later get to the Keychron comparison. There's a dust cover in the box too, which if you got a cat that treats your desk like a runway, or you just live in a dusty room, you're gonna appreciate more than you think. Now, one little thing I wish they'd done: scooped F and J keys. On a board sold on how good it feels to type on, giving me homing keys options would have been a nice touch. Maybe it's not a big deal, which raises a question for you. How much do you actually care about getting your preferred homing keys, scooped or bar, in a pre-build? I'm legitimately curious what you think. Now, the part that matters most to me as a keyboard dork: how does it sound and feel? Out of the box, zero building, these sound decent. That's the whole pitch of a pre-build, and QwertyKeys delivered. The London Fog V2 switches are a pretty good stock switch pick. It's a linear switch, medium light, about 43 grams to actuate, 49 to bottom out. So they're easy on the fingers, nothing too crazy. The long pole stem gives you that poppy, clacky, leaning sound profile. So for a first board, there's nothing weird to get used to. And you pair that with a polypropylene plate, the Poron gasket, and that flatter chamber, you get the sound that is softer and controlled. It's not dead, controlled. None of that hollow ping cheap aluminum boards sometimes can get. Here's a 75 against the Neo98 so you can hear the size difference. All right, the comparison everyone's going to ask about. We just reviewed the Keychron Q3 Ultra, so it's fresh and it's an obvious rival. Let me be fair to both. Where Keychron wins, the software. The Q3 Ultra runs ZMK with Keychron's launcher web app, and that's more capable than Neo's firmware. It's got a volume knob, the Neo's doesn't, more switch options out the gate, more layout across the lineup, and 8K polling rate versus Neo's 1000 Hertz. But the honest part on that polling number, unless you're competitively gaming, 8K versus 1K makes zero difference to you. None. For typing and everyday use, you will never feel it. So don't let that spec talk you into anything. And I'll be straight with you. Sound is personal, and I happen to prefer how this Neo sounds over my Keychron. That's my years. Listen for yourself. Batteries is interesting too. Keychron claims up to 660 hours, so about 2 to 3 months of heavy use, off of a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And they get there because ZMK sips power. The Neos pack double that, an 8,000 milliamp hour battery, but they don't run ZMK, so they're less efficient with it. QwertyKeys doesn't publish an official number, and I'm not going to invent one. Real world, you're looking at somewhere between 500 to 700 hours with backlight off. Bigger battery, hungrier firmware, it roughly evens out. Now, where the Neo wins. Price first. It's around 50 to 60 bucks cheaper, more color options than the Q3 Ultra, and in my hands, the build quality just feels a touch nicer. The finish, the way the gasket settles, the heft when you pick it up, that's a close call and your mileage may vary, but it's my personal read. And the keycaps. Remember I said hold that thought? Keychron ships tall KSA caps, and the Neo ships cherry profile, which is lower and the profile that most people are already typing on. So coming from basically any normal keyboard, the Neo's going to feel familiar on day one. KSA caps look great, but they're taller and plenty of people end up swapping them out. It's a small thing, but for a first board, familiar wins. So the split's pretty clean. Keychron's the better pick if you want the software, the knob, the wireless performance, or the gaming polling. The Neo's better pick if you want more board for less money. Build a little nicer, that feels normal the second you sit down. So who is this actually for? If you want your first real custom feel board and don't want to spend a whole evening building one or a quarter of your monthly rent, this is a great place to start. You like the clean Neo look, you want a premium build and good sound the moment you open the box, and you don't want to drop $200+. That's the exact person QwertyKeys built this for, and I think they nailed it. Between the two, if you do spreadsheets, use a numpad, work in an office, get the Neo98. That 1800 style layout gives you full-size function in a slightly smaller footprint. If you want function keys and arrows but don't want a numpad, the Neo75 is your compact pick. Who should skip it? If you want deep software and ZMK wireless performance, a volume knob, AK polling for competitive gaming, or you're tinker who wants to open the board and swap plates and mounts, grab the Keychron, or honestly build the Neo barebones kit. You're going to be way happier. Before you go, that carrying case thing, I want to know where you land. Would you rather they skip the case and keep the price lower, or pay a little more and get one in the box? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them instead of going outside to touch grass. And that's it for the Neo98 and Neo75 pre-build. Links for both are down below. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next build.